morning, everyone. And Nikhil, I think you have shared a really good insight into what skills are really important in today's era, not only for the students, but for every one of us, because we are going through such a revolutionary time. We are already midway fourth industrial revolution, and in a world which is radically transforming through AI and automation. And being a part of talent acquisition world, I know that the companies currently are hiring for the jobs which we don't know. We want people who are ready for next 2 to 3 years, and we don't know what next 2 to 3 years would look like. I mean, if we talk about 2019, we had not even dreamt of that we all will be facing this pandemic, and we all will be, scale up. We all will adapt. We will all will, come through it and go through it with so much resilience. I mean, we always underestimate ourselves as humans, but I think this pandemic has really shown us that what we are capable of as human race. So yeah, I mean, coming back, in terms of what organizations are looking for, we ourselves don't know that down the line 2 to 3 years, what kind of jobs will exist. And this COVID has accelerated the digital transformation for all the organizations. I mean, we all are working remotely. Classes are happening online. People are selling online. People are selling food online. So everything has digitized. I mean, last 7 8 months, so much of digital acceleration have happened that probably what we were expecting to happen couple of years down the line, it's already happening now. So how does it impact us? So I would say that the relevancy for the job and the intelligence for the job has changed a big way, and it cannot be just purely judged on the GPAs, which has been a very traditional way till few years back. And that brings us to today's topic, that we need the right mindset and the right skills to begin the corporate journey. I will share, I'll start with my own journey. I am I am working in the talent acquisition function. Previous to this role, I have worked in the corporate training or bit of L&D function, but I do not have the academic background of human resources. I when I was studying, I had very deep interest in accountancy, finance, taxation. I mean, I used to score 100 on 100 marks on in all these subjects, and I was a core finance person. I did my schooling, I did my MCOM. I started out with the chartered accountancy, and then I landed up in a job which these educations, these courses did help me in finding a job which was related to my field. And 1 year down the line, I was given an opportunity to be a trainer, to interact with all the new hires which the organization is going to hire for next few years, and train them on the processes, train them on how we work, make them cultural fit, make them process fit. And that role shifted from operations to HR. Without having the HR background, I had to scale up a lot. I had to put in a lot of effort to be become the right face of the organization. But why did that happen? I would share that also. Because of my learning agility, and that is one of the very important skill which is still relevant today, and all the more relevant in today's time, the learning agility. You know how? Because you may start with a particular job, or you may start with a particular career, but then you always change is constant. I mean, we cannot stop organizations from evolving, organizations from changing. So we also have to evolve our careers, our career journeys, as in the direction the organizations are moving, the industry is moving. So with my learning agility, I was able to make shifts out of 3 or 4 roles in the same organization. I started as a data researcher, which is an entry level role for S&P Global. I moved to the trainings, I moved to the L&D function, then I moved to the talent acquisition. So this has been my journey, and then I continuously kept on learning, what industry trends are, what is my organization need, how can I solve the problem which the organization is facing. So problem solving skills. again, very very important, and that can help, that can come, as Nikhil was mentioning, with critical thinking, creative thinking, like new ways of approaching the problem, coming up with the innovative mindset. So this is bit about my personal journey. And talking about automation and AI, these words are very heavy, and we all are really curious to know how future will look like. But let me share something about, SNP here, that I come from a generation when the mobile phones and computers were very new to us, when I was in school or college. And then, Microsoft Excel was the only automation tool. It is still very very relevant, but Excel, having to know the formulas in Excel, HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, macros, VBA, it was like, if somebody knows those functions, that person used to be like, oh, he's a master of automation. And that thing, is still very relevant. Most of the automation can be done on Excel, but what is required behind that is logical thinking. So that is again a very very important skill. And coming sharing one instance here. So till few years back, we didn't know what is AI, what are bots. And we have a huge office facility, and one day a group of us was leaving, and then there was this computer, which was set up in a way nobody was sitting over there, and there was a huge paper which was stuck to it, and it said, do not shut it down, bots at work. And it was a regular computer. And most of us, it was a very new concept of bots. We were thinking, we can't see any robot here, who's working on this? We had no clue what was happening. And I'm talking about 5 7 years back. So pardon my digital illiteracy of that time. So I had to upskill myself a lot, to understand what are the nuances of the digital world. It's another level altogether. So then it was a really surprising thing. Okay, how can a bot work? I can't see any bot. This is a simple computer. And that essentially meant that how much upskilling I had to done for myself. And that bot was nothing but a web crawler. So I hope web crawl. Some of you might already know what web crawlers are, but web crawlers are basically the programming done to extract information from various Google sites and company websites. So that's how my journey began in terms of digital literacy. And and coming, talking about these teams, these concepts of AI automation, they are not something untouched for every one of us. We all are doing it in some way or the other. When we started focusing on, how we can automate our processes, and we are a data company, so data is the first thing which can get automated, how we collect data. We first started out with our current resources, and mind it, these resources were very campus hires, the MBA graduates. They were working with us, they knew the process in and out, they knew the data in and out, and they had such great suggestions. Again, problem solving skill, creative thinking, innovation mindset. They came up with the suggestions that this is how we can automate how we are doing reporting, how we are collecting data. And we were first started out with Excel, which is again logical thinking. And then eventually our journey has been now, in our organization we have a center of excellence team which is automating the processes and helping out the entire enterprise. And who are these people? These are very those hires whom we hired from campuses, and they started out the automation, very simple Excel based automation, within their processes, and then they upskilled themselves. I remember there was a phase they were learning SQLs. There was a phase everybody was getting trained on Six Sigma, Lean, how to cut down and remove waste from the process collection standpoint. And then they were getting trained on R, Python. I mean, that's how their journey has been. And our center of excellence, centralized automation team which we have today, most of the people are internally hired, who were who took the step of upskilling themselves, who had the interest in automation, who had interest in challenging the status quo, questioning, thinking from the new point of view, how this can be done better. And then Once that part got saturated, then we looked outside to hire the people who had the advanced technical skills to automate processes. So that's how it begins. And I think it's true for everyone. Whenever you are part of some team or you're part of some project in your college, or any work you're doing, you're closest to that piece, and you are the best person to know how this thing can be evolved, how what can be the new ways of doing that process, and any monotonous work can be, how it can be automated. So it starts right now, it starts right here. You don't have to work, you don't have to wait that somebody will come and give you the opportunity, give you the training. It's all the mindset, how we think about, how we look at things. So these, if you ask any of us what are the skills required, the skills are, technical skills are at one place, but most of the skills which Nikhil also mentioned about, they all are intangibles. Critical thinking, problem solving, data analysis. And data analysis basically means that computer, bots, AI will give you the data and the trends, but then you have to go through that. You have to derive the narration out of it, and you have to make decisions. The quality of decision making based using the data which has been provided by the automation tools is very, very critical. Another piece, I think, which is very, very critical, is your emotional intelligence. How human to human connection works. I mean, bots, computers, technology can never reach there. So that is another very important skill, which is you're going to be, um, I think, one of the top skills which will be required, the emotional intelligence quotient. How we connect as human to human, how problem solving can be done through humane touch. That is going to be very important. Data analysis, as Nikhil touched upon, on a very, very basic level, you will have entire gamut of data, pie charts, flow charts, but what to do with that? So deriving a story out of it, deriving this, what this data is telling us, and making the decisions basis that, it's going to be very critical. Then another part which is, apart from what Nikhil has covered, is your DNI quotient, your diversity and culture intelligence. Now, we as I was mentioning, the pandemic has changed everything, and we are working virtually. So there are no physical offices as of now, and probably for the few coming months, nobody will be going to offices at full strength. And you are going to be part of different organizations with different global culture. So how well you are getting along with a person working in the US, in Argentina, in Philippines, in Lebanon, in Pakistan, and within India. Probably you're dealing with somebody sitting out of Chennai and somebody sitting out of Ahmedabad or sitting out of Mumbai. How well, on the mindset level, you are able to accommodate others point of view and respect the culture, respect the point of view the other person brings. That is also going to be very, very important, because physical barriers are gone now. We are all under the global roof. So you have to evolve the thought process. Regional solution, I mean, if let's, for very just an example, you might be working for the India team or probably a particular team. The solution has to be given, customized to that, but it has to be from the global mindset, like how your organization thinks globally and how that can be implemented regionally. That kind of change management needs to be done. Leadership skills, again, going to be very, very critical. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to manage a team, you need to have people reporting into you, then only you can be a leader. It is basically how you work with the team, how you are able to take a lead in helping out the other person, how you're managing the project, how you're taking the initiatives in making sure that you not only deliver your output, but also identify any roadblocks which are there for the other team members or the project team members, your colleagues or your peers or your friends, how you can help them in achieving their own goals and becoming best selves of themselves. That's going to be very important. Things have evolved, definitely, we all know that. And I'll touch upon the traditional model, how organizations have operated, and the current model or the future model. I think future is already here, so that will not be the right terminology to use, future model. So when it comes to, traditional processes, those were overseen by humans. Like, as a manager, I'll ensure, uh, has this team member achieved the target, has the team member achieved the quality, do I have any backlog, etc., etc. Now that all can be done with robots, bots, crawlers, automation. That piece is taken care of. Now what do I need to do? I need to see, okay, I see the gap, there is not the target has not been achieved, what do I need to do? So my role is more of decision making, implementing, and achieving, rather than doing the collection of data and seeing that already is taken care by the automation for me. Skills. Now, earlier, the career scopes were engineering, software engineer, hardware engineer, teacher, doctor, we could list it down. If you write a list of career options on a list of paper, I think 10 years back, it was pretty simple. Depending upon the interest level, if you're a commerce background, you will have at least 10 to 12 options to go into. Same way for engineering, medical, etc. But now, I mean, the new kind of roles, the new kind of jobs, as Nikhil was mentioning, that cybersecurity is one very important piece. We hadn't thought about it. How to secure our phones, how to be intelligently clearing up our browsing history when you're accessing your bank details, when you're, how your browsing data can be protected. All that digital literacy is very, very important. So, from hardcore tech skills, I think what shift has happened is we all have, and we all need to be continue to having the widespread tech literacy or digital literacy. It's not only limited to technical background people, but it's applicable for even kids. I mean, I have a small daughter who attends her online classes, and I have to teach her that how to operate the so she attends her classes through iPad, and I have to teach her that what she can access, what she cannot access, in what situation she has to switch off her camera. That kind of literacy, digital literacy, is important even for a 5-year-old. So that's the kind of radical change we are going through. I had never thought till few months back that I will be comfortable teaching my daughter how to operate Zoom, or for that matter, give her free hand in doing her online classes on her own. So that's a big change for me also. I mean, to allow her, to empower her to use the device in a good way. I mean, that's a good screen time. Education, I think biggest example, you all are going through it. Schools, universities, brick and mortar classrooms, a teacher, we had a luxury of having, interacting with teachers in person earlier. Now it's all digital, and I think that's the way to go. It's going to be a blended learning, combination of e-learning and combination, and in instructor led learning. That's the way it's going to be. Career options, I think now we have many career options. Retirement, dynamics are changing. Set retirement dates are the talk of the, it's basically no more relevant. I mean, people have flexible retirement plans. They can work as long as they want, as they are going to, if they have the right skills, the leadership skills, they can be advisors to many companies. Places of work are changing, I think. I Every single company is now working on rationalizing the real estate cost, because it's a lot of cost. And I think we companies have more flexibility now to save on the real estate cost and hire more people, or probably invest that amount in, upgrading the technology, or passing those, um, providing more benefits to employees, or probably increase the headcount. So that's a major shift. Mobility, I mean, you guys are going to be starting your career, and some of you, I'm sure, I mean, coming from, I had a similar problem when I was starting out my career, that my parents were not very comfortable in sending me to any other city or any other state. But now, I think this pandemic has really helped many of us in terms of picking up the jobs where we don't have to actually relocate. And that also means that some companies would be moving their jobs from the other countries to India, and vice versa. So there is a entire opportunity, scope, or entire, I would say, a whole new set of opportunities going to be available to your generation, where people can work without having to relocate, and the flexibility to work from home and pick up the jobs which are probably, are in Bangalore or in Pune. And that mindset change has happened for managers and for the organizations, that work can be done. In fact, productivity, 100% productivity can be achieved without having to monitor the person or sitting on the person's head to make sure that the person will. Earlier the mindset was that the person will not be able to deliver if the manager is not sitting on the head. So that very big mindset change has happened, and I think Nikhil can add on here. He's from the L&D background. Managers training, we organizations spend a lot in the training the managers to be good managers, to not micromanage, to let the person be, so that the team members can think innovatively. And this pandemic has really helped us in achieving that to a great extent. So I think yeah, I'll stop here, and will be more I will be open to take your questions probably once we move to the Q&A round. So yeah, over to you guys. Thank you.